Walking the line, achieving authenticity as a leader without getting too personal abstract. This article examines the nuanced challenge leaders face in practicing authentic leadership while maintaining appropriate professional boundaries. Drawing on decades of consulting experience and academic research. The article argues that while authenticity builds trust and enhances organizational outcomes, it requires thoughtful discernment rather than indiscriminate personal disclosure. The article offers evidence-based guidelines for leaders across industries on how to share personal experiences that foster connection while avoiding oversharing that might undermine authority or create workplace discomfort. Beyond self-disclosure, the author presents a holistic framework for authentic leadership that encompasses transparent decision-making, soliciting honest feedback, leading with humility, and consistently demonstrating values through action. The article ultimately advocates for a contextually sensitive approach to authenticity that respects organizational culture while maintaining the professional foundation necessary for effective leadership. As a leadership consultant and professor, I have spent decades advising executives on how to build high-trust organizations by being truly authentic leaders. However, achieving authenticity as a leader is not as simple as just telling everyone everything about your private life. There is a fine line that leaders must walk between genuinely connecting with their teams and oversharing personal details that can undermine their authority and damage workplace relationships. Today we will explore how leaders can open up to foster close interpersonal bonds without sacrificing professional boundaries. Research on authentic leadership has been defined in the research literature as a pattern of leader behavior that draws upon and promotes both positive psychological capacities and a positive ethical climate to foster greater self-awareness and internalized moral perspective, balanced processing of information, and relational transparency on the part of leaders working with followers, fostering positive self-development. Wallumbwa et al. 2008. Meta-analyses have consistently linked authentic leadership to enhanced employee work attitudes, satisfaction, performance, and overall well-being. Chomsky et al. 2014. Mileski et al. 2012. Hughes et al. 2012. However, while transparency and self-disclosure are core components of authentic leadership, studies also highlight potential downsides if overdone. Leaders must consciously decide what details to share and when based on relevance to the work at hand in order to maintain appropriate professional boundaries. Gardner et al. 2005. As a whole, the research suggests that authentic leadership offers substantial benefits but must be carefully balanced to avoid potential negative impacts. Practical application. Setting professional boundaries. In my consulting experience, one of the most common challenges leaders face in conveying authenticity is determining how much of their personal lives are appropriate to share. The reality is that every situation requires discernment. However, here are some general guidelines I have provided to clients. Focus self-disclosures on topics directly related to work goals and challenges. Share past career mistakes or personal experiences that help explain your leadership philosophy. But avoid casually chatting about your kids' soccer games or what you did last weekend unless it is naturally relevant. Be modest about sharing personal opinions or views on non-work topics. While a political or charitable passion can be inspiring, speculating strongly on controversial social issues risks needlessly polarizing people or calling your judgment into question. Limit intimate personal details. Too much sharing about relationships, health issues, or other private matters risks making team members uncomfortable with you shifting between professional and personal roles fluidly. Follow team member cues. Gauge reactions and check that self-disclosures seem genuinely well received before consistently opening up more. Not everyone wants a close personal bond with their boss. Avoid violating legal protections. Certain personal details like medical conditions, family situations, or religious cultural heritage are protected by law and should not be shared without direct consent. Applying authentic leadership in various industries. While the core tenets of authentic leadership cross industries, how they are best applied depends on the context and culture. Here are two specific industry examples: healthcare, in hospitals. Authentic sharing by physicians of difficult diagnoses, treatment failures, or personal challenges with patients builds trust essential for care quality. However, MDS must avoid overfamiliarity or discussing their own health issues at length. Overall, maintaining clinical authority while conveying approachability fosters authentic patient relationships. Tech startups. In fast-paced startups, authenticity from founders and executives can inspire shared mission, purpose, and tap employee passion. However, transparency should focus more on strategic, operational details than excessively casual interactions given ever-shifting priorities. An authentic leader promotes entrepreneurial culture through open-door accessibility balanced with clear direction. Applying authentic leadership beyond disclosure. While relational transparency is crucial, authentic leadership is far broader than how much one shares personally. Here are a few additional strategies for leading authentically beyond self-disclosure. Engage in transparent decision-making whenever possible. Explain your reasoning even when dissenting views surface, publicly admitting mistakes respectfully. Solicit candid feedback through surveys, reviews, and skip-level meetings. Fostering open two-way communication encourages truth-telling while still setting professional norms. Lead with humility, acknowledging limitations while inspiring growth. Admitting weakness can boost authenticity when followed by a commitment to learning from others' diverse strengths and perspectives. Follow through consistently on stated values with actions, not just words. Walk the talk, daily through integrity, respect, care for people, the ethical foundation of authentic leadership. Conclusion. Balancing authenticity and professionalism as a leader requires nuanced judgment adapting to organizational culture and industry context. While self-disclosure fosters connection, oversharing risks undermining one's authority or creating discomfort. Focusing transparency on career lessons, decision-making, values, and inviting candid feedback sustains authentic relationships within healthy workplace boundaries. Overall, the authentic leader navigates this line authentically through active listening, respect for others' perspectives, and by humbly walking the talk each day.